Well, some exciting news last week with the National Hockey League announcing the Stadium Series game for the big Horseshoe in downtown Columbus. And who better to talk to than former Buckeye and, of course, a huge Columbus Blue Jacket fan than Kirk Herbstreit. And Herbie, thanks for joining us. What was your initial reaction when you heard the official announcement?
I was thrilled. I've watched that game for so many years. I can remember when the NHL went to those stadium games, and always thought, man, how cool would it be if that natural rivalry with the Red Wings, we get the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets at the Shoe. So I've always thought about the possibility of that happening. I didn't know if it would ever come to fruition, but here we are. So yeah, to hear that, and probably like you, I've watched every one of those games. It just seems to be even a little bit even more additive of the buzz in these stadium games with that many people there watching the game. And I think with the history of Ohio Stadium, I know there are a lot of people that love the Buckeyes and love the Blue Jackets as well. So I think there are a lot of people that are in the state of Ohio and especially in Columbus that are fired up.
Now, talking to a couple of buddies of yours on the team, Zach Werenski and Boone Jenner, the captain, they're pretty excited to hear your thoughts on what it's like to play in the Horseshoe.
Well, I mean, it's to me one of the great sanctuaries that we have in North America. I think you go back and think about all the history and so many great, obvious Ohio State football moments and games that have been played in there. The place comes alive. It'll be electric, just to have that game in there. I think fans will really buy into it and get excited. Like I said, hopefully the Jackets are going to be on a good run next year when they end up getting into this game, and there'll be that much more excitement. But the Shoe will come alive. Like I said, I think of all the great old stadiums that are out there, the Horseshoe doesn't really take a back seat to very many stadiums. So I think the boys will really play off of the home field, I could say, even though it's home ice, the home field advantage with that crowd being behind them, and hopefully get a great win. It'll be a great memory for Blue Jackets fans.
Now, the Blue Jackets and the Detroit Red Wings, the opposition, they're going to draw fans in from Michigan, obviously Ohio, specifically Columbus. But I'll tell you, folks in the Northeast are going to make their way here, and even from Southern Ontario and Canada, there's going to be better than 105,000 people there. What advice specifically would you give the Blue Jacket players playing in front of 105,000 plus, if not a lot more?
Yeah, and not to mention a national television audience tuned in as well. My advice to them, and once they get out there, I think in the warm-ups, they may feel that energy in front of 100,000. I don't think any of them have ever played in front of that many people in a hockey match, obviously. So I think there'll be a little bit of buzz more in the pregame. And once the puck drops there in the first period, it's a hockey game, and you're going out there trying to execute and win a hockey game. But I do think that there's just something that's, when I watch these games, no matter where they've been played, there's just something really cool to see these stadiums with ice in the middle of these fields, and then the crowd that's around it. I think the players will feed off of the energy. I think they'll love that many people being there, being the center of attention for the NHL. And as you know better than anybody, hockey is a game of momentum. And having that played at the Shoe instead of up at the Big House will give them a huge advantage. But I think that they will have so much energy. It'll probably remind them of like a playoff hockey game, because the crowd will be so intense and have such an impact on the result of that game.
Again, it's March 1st, so there's no football for you. You planning on coming with your family?
Yeah, absolutely. Love to be able to come up, take that in. I mean, who knows if you ever have a chance to see the Blue Jackets play in a game like that. Like I said, hopefully you and I were talking before we came on here. Hopefully they will get to a place where they're feeling it and playing with some momentum and some energy, and that'd be an awesome experience. I'm definitely going to be able to get up there and enjoy it with my family.
Now, the situation with the Blue Jackets, here's a guy, Kirk Herbstreit, who's on the football beat most of the fall and certainly into the early winter and what with the national championship game. But I know you keep tabs on the Blue Jackets. We're all a little disappointed, but there's some exciting time ahead for your hockey team. And you'll get a little bragging rights there on Fowler before too long. Colorado, they got a chance at the Cup, but I tell you what, you tell Fowler the Jackets are just around the corner to challenge them.
Well, and then I got Al Michaels, who's an LA Kings guy, and he's always
that's right.
He's always giving me the business too. He's a season ticket holder out in LA. And there for a while, I was feeling pretty good. If I would give Jackets updates during our football games, if they're winning or doing well. I've been a little quiet the last few years for obvious reasons, but always in their corner, always loved them. I was there from the beginning. You and I have talked about this, but many people may forget, but there was a huge debate when I used to do local radio in Columbus about the arena and whether the tax dollars would pay for the arena. And it actually got voted down. And Columbus at that point was always a kind of a small market, kind of a minor league town with some of the sports with hockey and baseball with the Clippers. And I don't know if people ever envisioned Columbus becoming a major league town because of Ohio State being there. And it got voted down. And John McConnell said, too bad, I'm still going to move forward and build this arena and bring this NHL team into this town. And thank goodness for he and his family for that vision, because I went to the first game. I went to every game I could go to those first 4 or 5 years. And it was just the nostalgia of just, there's the Penguins on the ice here in Columbus. There's the Red Wings. There's the Avalanche. Whoever it was, if we scored a goal, we were thrilled. You might lose 5-1, but it was just the excitement of having a real team. So to go from those early stages of the debate about the arena, having a team that was actually wearing a sweater and playing out on the ice and playing these traditional powers. And then to watch him get a little bit better, of course, Rick Nash, and then Rick Nash era ends. And then all of a sudden they put a nucleus together there that was probably about as exciting as a sports fan that I can remember. I was living in Nashville. I'd fly up to every playoff game, whether they were playing Tampa or Washington or Pittsburgh. Some of my favorite memories, I text you all the time, is watching playoff hockey with the Blue Jackets. So even in Nashville with the Predators, one year we were there, they were in the Stanley Cup Finals. We are still diehard Columbus Blue Jackets fans, and my son Chase is really into it. And we're just holding steady here, hoping that this thing will turn and get us back to where we can compete and have a lot of fun. We miss it.
Well, a lot of guys in that room certainly appreciate their friendship with you, as I certainly do, and thank you for your time. Again, I look forward to seeing you here at the rink before too long.
Yep, you got it. Take care, bud.